Yesterday, I had Tim Cook in the office from Apple. He's investing hundreds of billions of dollars. I don't know. I hope he's announced it. Hope I didn't announce this, but what the hell? All I do is tell the truth. That's what he told me. Now he has to do it, right? So it's a good. But he's investing hundreds of billions of dollars, and others too. We're going to have a lot of chip makers coming in, a lot of automakers coming in. They stopped 2 plants in Mexico. They were under construction, starting construction. They just stopped them. They're going to build here instead because they don't want to pay the tariffs. The tariffs are amazing.
Yeah, but Democrats said they're bad. President Trump says, no, it's about making deal. This is history. Apple says it's going to invest $500 billion in America over the next 4 years and create 20,000 U.S. jobs. It is a turning point for a blue-collar boom. Again, Democrats and the media have been hammering Trump over his tariffs and incentives to bring back manufacturing to the U.S., but the Democrats and media silent pretty much for the day on this one. Let's welcome to the show the terrific host of the hit podcast called Tomi Lahren is Fearless. She's a host on OutKick.com, the one and only Tomi Lahren. Tomi, great to see you. So the media's not really taking this on. We're tracking it, Tomi. It's more than $1.5 trillion in deal making the president did in just a month in. So do you think the left and Democrats are going to admit Trump's tariffs are an effective negotiating tool?
Well, Liz, I think we both know that they're not likely to admit that. But I think that the narrative here in reality is America is open for business under President Trump, closed to shenanigans and illegal immigrants. I'd add that in as well. I think perhaps some of the other mainstream networks could take a little time away from the federal workers whining about being laid off for inactivity and maybe spend some time talking about all these jobs that will be opening up in the United States of America. Perhaps some of those folks, if they really want to work hard, instead of working hard for the federal government, maybe they can work hard in the private sector in some of these many job openings that are sure to happen under President Trump. I'd also say, Liz, this is another example of the art of the deal. The folks on the left and maybe even some on the right might not like the way President Trump speaks. It's certainly unconventional. But when push comes to shove, he gets the jobs done. And the money and the investments are just indicative of that. The reality is this president is a businessman, and he's running our country that way.
Yeah, Tomi, let's talk about that for a second. I mean, it's Trump's deal making. It's a 180. It's a flip away from how Democrats were doing it with their overspending. Now, we don't want to give you a migraine or a headache, Tomi. We don't want to do that. But let me just walk through for everybody what happened. It was overspending and Fed money printing. It was wartime levels without the war. So Trump is trying to ramp up supply, ramp up production to get rid of inflation, which is a case of too much money chasing too few goods and services. Let me go through it. The Federal Reserve did let the money supply grow at a faster rate than U.S. GDP growth. And Biden did it. Democrats did it without, during the pandemic chaos, Tomi, the Fed exploded Fed money printing and the money supply, M4, at a huge 31% year-over-year increase. That's inflation. And Trump is trying to fix and lower inflation.
Yeah, the pandemic was the dumbest time in modern American history. It also conditioned folks to getting used to getting a stimulus check rather than opening their business or going to work. And that was a horrible habit that had to be broken. President Trump is saying, I want Americans to get back to work, and I want American jobs available for those American workers that want to work hard. No more of this cheap, illegal immigrant labor. I want to bring companies and opportunities and jobs and well-paying jobs to the American people. And that's exactly what these investments show. And it also shows that the world and the world's companies have a lot of confidence in this president. They want to invest in America, and this is going to be a golden age, no doubt.
That's how America has been run for generations, going even past JFK. This big, New Deal kind of thinking is so yesterday, and it's off the wall. Tomi Lahren, thanks for joining us. It's always great to have you on, Tomi. Good to see you.